Hello everyone, and this is my review for WWE NXT Takeover Brooklyn. And, I'm just going to go right from the get-go here. What a show. It was a great show. You could tell the crowd was pumped throughout the entire time. I liked the beginning of the show with Triple H's promo talking about how NXT started, where it was going, and they treated the moment just like they treated the first special on when they did the first NXT special a while back. Talking about how the future was now, everything in that aspect. And they did that moment where, they released to, they had the crowd completely in the dark, and then brought the lights up to the crowd becoming really pumped. And you had it in that small Full Sail arena. This time you get this aspect of them doing it again, but this time with them inside of a full arena like they would have for Raw, SmackDown, for one of the WWE pay-per-views. And it just gave it a sense of how much NXT has grown in that sense. So the promo that he put at the beginning was really good, putting over not only how well the NXT people have done, but with the fans as well. I really did like that promo right at the beginning of the show, which leads into everything with the matches for the night. Which, by the way, throughout the entire night, if you realize this, they didn't really have any backstage promos throughout the night. I didn't really see one anywhere. You had some areas of, these people are arriving in, or then they cut to like celebrities who are in the crowd for the night or something in that sense. But, the one aspect I actually liked, it was mostly focused around the in-ring action. You had your match, then you cut to a few different things, maybe a video package in there, and then you went into the next match. The only promos you got were from Triple H and Stephanie right before the Divas match. That's all you had in that sense. You had no extra backstage. We've got to sell this event more and more somehow now at the actual show. They didn't have to do that. They built it well enough beforehand. So after saying all that, let's get into the actual matches for the night. The first match they started off with was the Tyler Breeze Jushin Thunder Liger match, and I'm going to go off and say this. I like the entrance from Tyler Breeze in this one. The aspect that I liked was, they did everything to fit into the New York side of it with the models coming out initially. But when Tyler came out himself, I liked the aspect they threw the little touch of a more Egyptian feel, because he was... because as his character does the seasonal residence, it's in Egypt at this time. So he came out with a more like Egyptian type attire for himself, with how with the extra stuff that he had on, and of course with his normal areas as well. And I felt that added a nice little touch to his entrance. I thought it was a really good one. As for the match itself with him and Jushin Thunder, relatively good match. It wasn't overly special, but they definitely got to show everything that they needed to show in this match. And Jushin Thunder Liger, even at the age that he's in, can still relatively go well in the ring. So, it was a really good, I won't say it was a really good match, but it was a relatively good match to watch, and a good way of opening off the show. They did show what both of them can do inside of the ring. The only aspect that I would have liked more was maybe if Tyler Breeze went over. I wish they would put Tyler Breeze over in these matches a little bit more, or maybe actually have him get the wins at the specials themselves, because they don't typically have him win when it comes to the NXT specials. I would like to see them. His character's good enough to be pushed even further. I wish they would go that route. Maybe they will here in the very near future. We'll see where they go with Tyler Breeze, but relatively good start to the show. Next up was the Bond Villains, Simon Gotch, Aiden English versus Blake and Murphy for the NXT Tag Team titles. I liked right at the beginning of the match how, okay, the Von Villains came out by themselves, and they added the little extra touch with the top hats and everything like that. I like that little aspect to it as well, to play more into the old-timey gimmick that they're going with. So, but you had, when Blake and Murphy and Alexa got out there, you had Alexa get on the microphone and say, it's like, oh, you got nobody to help you. You got nobody to help you moments. How pathetic are you guys? And then they point to the ring, and lo and behold, you get blue pants. Which, by the way, good job to the Von Villains, kind of giving it away by coming out there in blue attire themselves. I actually like that aspect, and you go out there with having them bring out blue pants or Leva Bates, for people who know or in the indie side, come out and be the counteracting area to Alexa Bliss throughout the match. The match was a good one. It was a really good tag team title match between the two of them, between both teams. I can't really say anything bad about this match. Maybe I can't say that it was overly great, but I can't say anything bad about it. They well timed their spots. They did everything that they needed to do. You got, obviously, at the end of the match with when Alexa Bliss was trying to interfere, you got Blue Pants taking her out of the equation, setting up for what seemed like, okay, Blake and Murphy are going to steal the tag team title match away, but no, it led into the actual finish where the Von Villains got the actual tag team title victory. And again, not necessarily a bad choice, not maybe the best choices. I feel that they could have probably gotten a better, they got a really good reaction. They probably could have gotten a better reaction if they had Enzo and Cass in this situation, but, it is what it is there. They kind of told the story. They told the story leading into the match really well. The story of the match was also really well done as well. So, in the end, really well done tag team title match. Good, and we'll see where they go with the Von Villains as the tag team champions. It still weirds me out that you're calling them the Von Villains, yet they're faces. It's a little weird in that aspect, but, I guess we'll see where they go with it down the road here. Next up, you had Ty Dillinger doing his perfect 10 gimmick. He's gotten it over a little bit. I'm not going to lie on that aspect. So we'll see if they can keep that going. But they basically threw him out there to be the, this was maybe the one low point, and that's not really saying that it was overly bad by a low point, but it was like, okay, this is a debut match. We're going to see what Apollo Crews can do in the ring, everything on that aspect. It'll be interesting to see how his gimmick is, because the way he played off his character is like, oh, he's just kind of really happy and shocked that he's there. Like, he was pointing to his name, was like, that's my name, that's my name. Look at this crowd, and everything. And we'll see where his actual, character is. But it was kind of like they're playing it as a guy who's kind of taken back by all of this and is like really shocked that he's even there. Type of character. So we'll see where they go with him down the road. As for the match, relatively good match to basically show what Apollo Crews could do. Again, nothing too special here. You got a little bit of offense in there by Ty Dillinger, but this match was designed to be a debut type match where you're showing what Apollo Crews can do in the ring. What moves does he have, and how can he maneuver around? So we'll see how he develops. I can't say it's a high point on the show, but I would say this would be the low point of the show. But it's not saying that it was bad by any stretch of the imagination. It's just one of those areas like you're getting a new guy just debuting, having his first match. He's got to show what he's got at this point. So we'll see where they go with Apollo Crews and Ty Dillinger as well. Like I said, he's kind of gotten that character gimmick over a little bit. So we'll see how they can take advantage of that in any way, shape, or form. Up next was Baron Corbin and Samoa Joe. You know what? I don't care what people have been saying, I get Baron Corbin's character. He's supposed to be a heel, but he's also supposed to be this dominating kind of a badass, almost like a semi-badass heel, where he goes out there, he ends matches really quickly, just ends them really quickly. You don't, he's not relatively designed to have long-standing matches, with the exceptions of specials like this one, where he went out there with Samoa Joe and they put on a really good match. And I did like the video package that they put together for him right at the beginning of the match as well. It was really well put together, even though the storyline was kind of quickly done. It did go with what they were going for with the stories, like, oh, Samoa Joe had put him into a situation he had never been in before, and they kind of threw it out there as like, hey, this match with Baron Corbin is going to be a little bit different than what you've seen in the past. And I was glad with that aspect of how they actually went through the match as well. Both of them worked pretty good match here. I like the spot at the end where it's like, okay, you get this crazy power move from Baron Corbin, and then Samoa Joe kicks out and gets him into the Coquina Clutch. Really good spot at the end, good way of going with it. I liked the little aspect that Baron Corbin did after the match. He might have done it a little bit too quickly of coming out of being passed out, but that aspect is like him semi-arguing with the referee or something in that sense. It kind of gave you that feel that maybe they're not fully done with these two yet, and we'll see if they're going to go anywhere with the two of them here in the very near future. So we'll see where they go with it. Like I said, relatively good match. Now this leads into, well, what they called the double main event of the night. And, well, what will I say? Obviously the best portions of the night. The match with Bayley and Sasha Banks, I will say, actually stole the show. Don't get me wrong, Finn Balor, Kevin Owens was a really good match. But Sasha Banks and Bayley in here stole the show completely, in every way, shape, and form. The work that they put into the match, I like the aspect of Sasha Banks working over the Bayley's injured hand, or playing off of the injured hand a little bit throughout the match and working that over. So Bayley would continue to sell it throughout the entire match, and in like little key spots where it's like, okay, oh yeah, that's right, her hand's still injured and everything in that aspect. Yeah, she's still kind of getting things over in here. But also with the video package that they put on beforehand, the whole aspect of the picture that they put up there with what was Sasha, Becky Lynch, Charlotte, and Bayley, and how they would fade Bayley out because it was seeming like, okay, she's kind of going nowhere, and then it's like when she comes back from injury, it's they played this story up really well about how Bayley had to overcome so many different areas or so many different shortcomings on her way to into this match, and it came off really well, and it got you into the actual story of the match, and the two of them just went out there and tore it down. Like I said, you had those spots in there where they were playing off of Bayley's injured hand in there, the reversal of the submission by Bayley when Sasha Banks had her in her submission hold, the reversal, that was really well done in there. The near fall as well, when it seemed like Bayley was going to win the match initially, all the way leading into the end of the match with the crazy reverse hurricane. And that move, well, first of all, Bayley almost injured herself. Looked like when she was going for a full top rope Frankenstein, it looked like she landed on her head almost, and like it was a little bit of a scary moment because you could have felt like she could have broken her neck at that point in time. But obviously that did not happen. Good thing. But leading into the end of the match, where that was probably the best reverse Frankensteiner I've ever seen. Like every time I see the reverse Frankensteiner done somewhere, even on the top rope or down on the ground itself, it just comes off so badly. The two of them performed it great leading into the actual finish where Bayley gets the win. You know, they played this match off great. It was a well-told story throughout the match, well-told story going into the match as well. No complaints to this match at all. The spot where they went with, where you had Becky and Charlotte afterwards, just added to it the whole aspect of this is where where they say the whole Divas Revolution began, was right there with them. That picture kind of played it off. They called them, like, they played off of the whole four horsewomen of the MMA scene with with all of them. They're playing them off as like the four horsewomen of NXT in this case. You know, the ones that are kind of changing the game within the divisions. So that spot at the end of the match was actually a really good one as well. And this leads into the to the other main event of the night, which was the ladder match: Finn Balor, Kevin Owens. Wow, and again with one of the entrances, I liked how they pulled off Finn Balor's entrance. It's like, okay, you have him doing his typical demon thing where like you have one of the guys crawling out, he kind of stands up and then fades in and kind of disappears, where another one, like the way they timed those guys getting up actually worked. It is like, okay, it looked like one disappeared and then the next one appears over here and then the next one appears behind, and then leading into actually Finn Balor doing his portion of the entrance, and of course in full body paint again. Again, different design. You know, same design on the front, different design on the back. That's where the difference was this time around. So again, really well done entrance there. Now, you know, past the entrances on this one, going right into the match, the two of them, just like when Bo Dallas and Adrian Neville worked a ladder match, what was it, last year? The two of them worked this ladder match really well. I felt the two of them did a really good job working this ladder match. You didn't have too much that made it feel like it was a convoluted match in any way. I like the spot like right before the match started, where, you know, with Finn Balor doing his entrance and the lights come back on, you just have Kevin Owens sitting in a chair in a corner. That was like playing the whole aspect of him not caring. I thought they did that was a nice little touch that they put in there. But the match itself between the two of them, the usage of the ladder, of the ladders that they used, and the usage of just like the spots that they put together, were really well done. It felt like it didn't feel like it was forced in some ways. Where it's like, oh, you could, like, you have this guy down and you could simply do, just run to, like, you have this guy down outside the ring and you could simply do, you know, run to the ring, climb the ladder and win the match. And you didn't really get that at all. It was kind of, everything felt like it flowed properly, and the match kind of worked as it was, as it needed to within this ladder match. And sometimes you don't get that with the ladder matches. It's kind of, okay, let's do this gigantic spot, and then we got to set up the next one right now, type of areas. And you didn't really get that. You got work inside the ring, work outside the ring, a little bit of work in the crowd in there as well. You didn't. And a lot of work, a different working with the ladders. I like the final spot. I particularly like the final spot where, well, kind of both of the final spots here, where Finn Balor had to counter Kevin Owens' like cradle suplex, where he was gonna look like he was gonna cradle suplex him onto the ladder that was wedged between the other two, or wedged between the ropes and the ladder. And then the final spot where Finn Balor's like, I want the championship, but I can't reach it right now. Okay, I mean, logical sense would say he would have to climb the ladder. Logical sense obviously would say climb the ladder, reposition it, and then climb again. But they played it off at that spot where, okay, Kevin Owens would probably still be able to get up, so he does one more coup de grace on him and then repositions it and climbs the ladder. I felt they timed their spots really well. They, you know, and you, what, like, just like what I'm saying is there's like the spots with the ladders in this one, I felt they made sense. They made complete sense with what they were going for, and it didn't seem like, okay, now you're setting up this spot and it seems like it's just there to be a big spot of some kind. No, it kind of seemed like it worked within their story. It worked within their offense of what they were going for, what they needed to do at that time. And it just came off really well with the ladder match. They did a really good job with this ladder match, and good to see that they're going with continuing on with Finn Balor. It makes you feel like, okay, they're fully going with Kevin Owens onto the main roster, and we'll see where they go with Finn Balor here in the very near future. So, overall, really good show. Again, NXT takeovers have been really good every single time they put them on, and this one is no different. I thoroughly enjoyed this show. Went about 2.5 hours, and recommended watch. If you had the network, didn't get to tune in, go to the actual archive of it. Watch it from beginning to end. Fully enjoyable. Great show. And that is my review for WWE NXT Brooklyn. And I thank you guys for watching.